So I will be totally pledging my allegiance to the Republican Party and the conservative principles for which it stands, and we will go out and we will fight hard, and we will win. We will win. And most importantly, we will make our country great again, because that's what it's all about.
All right, Donald Trump announcing he has signed the pledge to support the Republican nominee. He will not run as a third-party candidate. And welcome back the Malzberg panel. Brad Hirschfield, author of You Don't Have to Be Wrong for Me to Be Right, and president of CLAL. And Adam Thompson, of course, he's an attorney, and he is a syndicated talk show host, and you can check him out at adamthompsonlaw.com. All right, gentlemen, let's start with the lawyer here. I mean, of course, this pledge isn't legally binding, Adam. Are you surprised that Donald Trump signed it?
I'm surprised he signed it at this point in time, because it was leverage for him to keep the Republican National Party acting fairly towards him, which up until this point, I really thought they were giving him the business and giving him a hard time, and I thought the way that the debate was handled was actually against his interests as well. So I thought he would have pulled back a little bit, use it as leverage, keep building up a substantial lead. I mean, he's at 30% now, well over the next three candidates combined, but still I would have held back a little longer and then signed the pledge. There was no real need to do it now, I think.
Brad, Roger Stone was here at the top of the show, and he said what we witnessed was the art of the deal, and this was a win-win for Donald Trump.
I think that's right. I think we've seen an evolution in Trump. Whether people like him or don't like him, over the last 2 weeks, he's become a much more sophisticated candidate, and when he took that pledge and used the word we, that was the first time that we was not something the Trump organization or the Trump candidacy, it was we, the Republican Party. I think he handled it really well, actually, and I think he could have split the difference by saying, I won't run as a third-party candidate, but I'm not prepared to commit to whoever gets nominated. He didn't. He went all in, and I think he actually advanced his candidacy by doing it.
And speaking of advancing his candidacy, Adam, Donald Trump in the latest Monmouth poll out today has now hit the 30% plateau. His closest competitor is Ben Carson at 18, who, by the way, rose in that poll from month to month from 5% to 18%. You know, and Roger Stone said before, oh, Trump Carson, that sounds like a good ticket. What about it?
It sounds like a decent ticket for the Republicans, because you're bringing in two non-politicians. That's why you see Bush all the way at the bottom, and Christie all the way at the bottom. People don't want the same people to just keep being reinvented and represented and reading off a teleprompter. They like that Trump isn't your typical politician. They like that Ben Carson isn't your typical politician. Now you have the top and the bottom of the ticket, both as outsiders, as Republicans. That's going to appeal to a lot of new people to come and hit the polls.
What about Brad?
Well, I think that's right. People clearly don't want a politician. The only thing to bear in mind here, though, is the only candidate who's got higher negatives than Hillary Clinton is Donald Trump. So we're in an interesting moment now where I think you have people on both sides hoping that the leading contender for the nomination on the other party, that's who they want to win. Not because they like who they've got, but because they like the downside risk of the other candidate. So it's interesting. He definitely has rising positives. He is definitely energizing his campaign, but his negatives are not going down. So what that looks like as we move forward is anybody's guess.
I think though, Adam, be careful what you wish for on the part of the Democrats, because one thing they're not saying about Donald Trump that I know of is that he's dishonest and a liar. And I think that's very hard to overcome. That's what Hillary's problem is. I think the more they see Donald in action, the more they learn about Donald. He's done nothing but go up in the polls.
Right. You know, if you look at the big picture, they could say, like, Donald Trump went bankrupt, he had some business deals. But, hey, that's what the law says you can do, and it shows that he's a sophisticated businessman, that he always used the laws to the advantage to make whatever business he was involved in as profitable as possible. On the flip side, as you said, Hillary Clinton's attack are on character, on integrity. That's a big difference, and it is hard to overcome. And as this email scandal blows up more, and we see people pleading the fifth, and they appear to be more of a bigger cover-up, she's just going to keep tanking more. And people, it's all about trust.
Brad?
It's no trust.
Well, I think that's right. Hillary's problems are about honesty and integrity. Donald's negatives come from personality and style. It's clearly easier to fix up perceptions of personality and style than legality and honesty, especially if she gets indicted, which I don't think anyone should preclude so quickly yet. I think that could be coming, and I think events for the last 24 hours may actually make it more likely than it has been until this point.
Right, and of course, we're going to come back and talk about why one of Hillary's State Department people who set up her email server is going to take the fifth and more. Don't go away. Hey, folks, Ben Carson has risen 13 points up to 18% in the latest national poll. He did that in 1 month. He's got a great new book out called One Nation, and you can get your copy absolutely free from Newsmax by calling the number on your screen and going to the website newsmax.com/Ben. Call 800-655-7567 and get the great book by Ben Carson. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're back with the Malzberg panel, Brad Hirschfield and Adam Thompson. And, of course, before the break, we were talking, gentlemen, about the former Hillary Clinton aide who helped set up her email server, who's been called to testify before Congress, is saying that he will take the fifth. Adam, you're an attorney. Why would someone who has nothing to hide about this just political attack, Hillary says, she did everything according to the law, why would someone who helped set up the server feel the need to take the fifth?
Steve, I've been doing this for 25 years as a criminal defense attorney. And when you sit down with witnesses or a client or the person who's a target or a potential defendant, you go through all the evidence and you review everything. And what you're looking for is incriminating evidence, incriminating testimony, incriminating statements. When someone's going to take the fifth, the ball game is over. That means that there's something that they're afraid that they're going to be asked when they sit in that chair under oath to testify that will either incriminate themselves, or in this case, we're talking about a pawn who really was working for Clinton. They don't want to give up their boss. That's what it is. A bigger fish can go down, or them, or both. They don't want that to happen. This is going to explode. This is as bad as it gets.
What about it, Brad?
Well, I think that's largely correct. Look, here's the thing. If he's getting advice from counsel not to say anything, to plead the fifth to protect himself, I get it. That means something went wrong. If he imagines he's taking the Fifth Amendment option out because he doesn't want to in some way incriminate his boss, Hillary, taking the fifth is just as bad. What he's done is said to everyone, I don't want to take the stand because of what I might say about her. It's one more example of her not willing to get ahead of this, confront this, and be honest about it. And we know with every cover-up, it's always worse when you try and keep covering because it's going to come out. It's going to come out.
He might be the fall guy. He might be the one rolling over.
I don't think so. He can't be the fall guy because it's a matter of perception. Whether he's the one who takes the blame legally, her candidacy is going to suffer. It has to. Because what everyone's going to know, even if they don't know exactly what she did do, they will know the person who put together that homebrew server didn't want to tell the truth.
All right, and here's something, Adam. There's a report that there's someone who says they have all of Hillary's private emails, and for $500,000 they will release them. I don't know how true that is. That's what the report is, and it's going to be very interesting if that actually happens.
Well, first of all, whoever's doing that is a complete moron, because if you're admitting that you hacked into someone else's software program or server and stole their information, great, because you just admitted that you committed a major felony. On top of that, if someone knowingly would go out to try to purchase that stolen material, they could potentially be charged too. Stay away from it. It's idiotic. But on the flip side, boy, would I love to know what those are.
All right, let's move on to something that's very important here. Kim Davis, the clerk in Kentucky who was refused to grant marriage licenses to gay couples, had to go to court today because the Supreme Court wouldn't take up her case a couple of days ago. Today, the judge actually took her into custody for contempt of court, and this woman is now in jail, last I heard. Brad, to me, this is the beginning of the end of religious liberty in this country, because that's the goal of the gay lobby, the gay activists. No. It's not about a marriage license. They could have gone somewhere else and got a marriage license, like the bakery people. They could have gone to another baker. They want to get people. They want to make it illegal not to believe that marriage is between anyone and anybody.
Steve, there's no they here. This is actually the beginning of religious liberty. And I say that,
how so?
And I'll tell you exactly how. Because unlike a bakery case where it's a private citizen who should have the right to make private decisions, this woman, Kim Davis, was elected to serve in office and function under the law. Now, I want to be clear. I'm sympathetic to how this is traumatic and difficult for her. I absolutely would not say this is a hateful, angry woman as she's being attacked. I don't think that's true. I think she's in the unenviable position of having been elected to serve the law, and the law changed on her. I think there probably should be some ways of working it out, but there's no question about what she is obligated to do. It actually isn't about the people coming, in this case, and asking for a marriage license. It is the protection of religious liberty that says all people are going to be protected under the law, regardless of who they are. You want to fight out definition of marriage? Have at it, but not this way.
Next they're going to go for Christian universities, for churches. Anybody who teaches that marriage is between a man and a woman, they'll go after their tax-exempt status. That's where we're headed. That was addressed in the Supreme Court the oral arguments, and the plaintiffs in the case admitted that could happen.
I don't buy into that. This, to me, is a simple call, Steve. I got to disagree with you on this one. Brad, you're on the right track. This is a government position.
On the left track.
She ran for office. She was elected. Her job is to follow the law. The Supreme Court issued a ruling. That's the law. Gay couples can get married. She has to issue the licenses. Right. If she doesn't, the people that she's violating the law against could file an action. Like in New York, there's something called an Article 7.
But Adam, the bottom line is they're being denied. They're being denied nothing. They could go to the next clerk and get it, or the next city and get it. They're being denied nothing. I'm telling you, this is the beginning of the end of religious liberty. We're coming back, guys. Thank you. Gavin McGinnis joins us. Don't go away.